Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. On August 2nd, 2016, it was reported that Donald Trump received a Purple Heart Medal from a former service member in Ashburn, Virginia. Someone in his audience that received a Purple Heart supposedly presented him with their medal. That medal is given to people who are injured or killed in combat. The purpose of this video is to show that this news story is contrived propaganda by the numbers. For the last year, I have been exposing how all of the Donald Trump news stories that are given to us up to the present have been manufactured propaganda by the laws of numerology and gematria, which is the practice of coding numbers into words. And the reason those languages are important and the reason they are coded into our news stories is because there's something called Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism, which is all about numbers, numerology, gematria. And Zionist Jews, the people who control our media, who run Donald Trump's campaign, who run Hillary Clinton's campaign, who control our government, who have our elected officials as puppets on strings, the same banker tyrants who needlessly create war by staging false flags in this country and blaming it on boogeymen, this same gang, they do everything by the numbers of significance. September 11th happened on 9/11, and it looked very, very suspicious. And the story about cave dwellers carrying it out made it all the more unlikely. And still to this day, these politicians who go before us, from Donald Trump to Hillary Clinton, they bring up the lies of the past. And at the same time, they smile in people's faces and tell them that Israel's our greatest ally. If people are awake, they will recognize right away how these people are the biggest frauds to ever go before our eyes. But because people are American dreaming and they don't have a clue what's going on in the world, they fall for all this deception. So I am sick of the deception. I'm sick of being around such ignorant people. I'm doing what I can to wake people up. And for a year, I've been showing how everything about Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton is stage managed by the numbers by this Zionist gang. This video is going to be the latest example. August 2nd, 2016, Ashburn, Virginia, receiving the Purple Heart. We're going to watch the news footage. Then I'm going to show you why this scripted propaganda event happened when it did. Here we go.
You know, something very nice just happened to me. A man came up to me, and he handed me his Purple Heart. Now, I said to him, is that like the real one, or is that a copy? And he said, that's my real Purple Heart. I have such confidence in you. And I said, man, that's like big stuff. I always wanted to get the Purple Heart. This was much easier. But I tell you, it was such an honor, and maybe I can bring him up on the stage. Lieutenant Colonel Louis Dorfman. I just happened. I can't imagine that the people of Loudoun are going to be voting for crooked Hillary Clinton. She didn't do anything.
All right, so there it was, receiving the medal, thanking this man. The crowd starts chanting USA. So often in this country, people are chanting for lies and propaganda that are shoved down their throats. That's something that needs to change. So this happened August 2nd, a date we write 8/2 in the United States of America. In the language of gematria, Ashburn, Virginia equals 82. So does the word soldier. This is a medal for soldiers injured or killed in combat. Plus, it goes back to the year 1782, emphasis on 82. The first president, George Washington, who had this medal created. With regards to George Washington, I've been showing in recent days the major parallels between Donald Trump and George Washington. The GOP convention began July 18th, a date written 18/7 in most parts of the world, a lot like 187. From July 18th to Inauguration Day is 187 days, and George Washington in gematria sums to 187, the first president. If Donald Trump does not become president, we'll have the first female president, and I think that's what this riddle is. Donald Trump is running as a stooge to make Hillary passable. Nobody likes Hillary. More people despise Donald Trump. Many people who don't like Hillary will be relieved that she wins just because Donald Trump didn't make it. That's why this entire thing is being orchestrated. Also, George Washington in Pythagorean gematria sums to 88. Trump in simple English gematria sums to 88. Purple, as in Purple Heart, equals 88. So does Elizabeth, the name of the current queen. And remember, on July 18th, Donald Trump came out to the song Queens, We Are the Champions. From the Queen's birthday, Queen Elizabeth, to the day he came out to Queen was 88 days. And think about how on the Queen's 90th birthday, they lit up Niagara Falls all in purple, color of royalty, royal family. The United States, the UK, two nations that serve the same Masonic Zionist banker tyrants, two nations that have never truly been separate from one another. If you haven't seen my work on Hillary Clinton, the Queen, and Margaret Thatcher, as well as Theresa May, the new Prime Minister in the UK, please check out that video. Very important information. Everything going on in these Masonic Zionist-run nations is by the numbers. This by the numbers thing is super important to these people. That's why they do this. So anyhow, Purple Heart has to do with injury, death. I've been talking about all year how they keep comparing Donald Trump to George Wallace, who was assassinated on the campaign trail 44 years ago. The word kill equals 44. Donald Trump trying to become the 44th person to be president. Barack Obama, the 44th president, but only the 43rd person. Before we get on with that, the assassination narrative, which ties in with the Purple Heart, wounded in service. In this case, it would be service to bringing about the Hillary presidency. Before we get to that, the man who brought out the medal, gematria of 74, remember, the reflection of that's 47. President equals 47. Authority 47. But 74 is the number always coded by these Masons and Zionists into their propaganda. Masonic 74, Jewish 74, a special number to this nation, the 7-4 birthday. Independence Day equals 74. Holiday equals 74. The first Thanksgiving celebrated 74 years to the day of it being made an official holiday. George Washington, the first celebration. Lincoln made it a holiday. Earlier this year, I said to look out for the date August 22nd for a possible assassination attempt date. For a lot of reasons, you can go back and watch that video. Just search Zachary, K. Hubbard, Donald Trump. It's in that list that will come up. I noticed when he was in Ashburn, Virginia, they had this text Trump to 88022. And I see the date August 22nd in that. I also see 88 for Trump, for purple, for poison, for program, for Elizabeth. Some things could be a coincidence, but remember, most of these numbers are put before our eyes for a reason. Also, Donald Trump, his new campaign manager, Paul Manafort. Just to show you how these things are so contrived by the numbers, look at Paul and Donald. They both equal 50, just like America. They're running on Make America Great Again. America equals 50, 50 states. Manafort has the same gematria as Trump, 88, 88. And Donald Trump and Paul Manafort, of course, equal the exact same thing. These people who go before us on the TV are actor agents, they are frauds, they are playing a part in the grand deception. The Masons, the Zionists, they treat the world as a stage. Look at what the Zionists control. Hollywood, they make the movies, the TV shows, and they run the media the same way. So many people say, man, how could they contrive all this news by the numbers? Just think for once in your life, these people are making 1 million TV shows, 1 million movies, more and more each day. You don't think they can dedicate people to make up some fake news stories? It's all the same stuff, you guys. If you watch my work, I show how they code the same stuff in their movies, TV shows, news programming. It's all linked up. Later today, I'm going to put out a video on the 3 Purge movies and how they all seem to foreshadow the Hillary Clinton presidency. It's quite amazing. If you want to get a head start, you can come to my blog and just search for the post. All these videos are made from my blog. My blog's freetofindtruth.blogspot.com. Free for everybody. Lots of information here. So anyhow, with regards to August 2nd, the date he got the Purple Heart in Ashburn, Virginia, an award for a soldier, Barack Hussein Obama was making headlines for releasing 214 people from prison, supposedly. And I heard on conservative radio, all of this news is contrived just to divide people. You listen to liberal radio, you listen to conservative radio, you can see why these news stories are made the way they are. On conservative radio, what were they talking about? They're saying, look at Barack Obama releasing these dangerous felons. Here Donald Trump is telling us that everything's unsafe under Obama's watch, and what's he do? He goes out and lets out even more felons. Look at this. August 2nd is the 214th day of the year. Obama released 214 prisoners on this day. The whole news story is bullshit. Now ESPN today is saying one of them's Demaryius Thomas's grandma. I mean, how ridiculous does that sound? It's probably a subtle programming for Campbell's Chunky Soup. All the football players and their mothers and their grandmothers. Anyway, Barack Hussein Obama also has this gematria of 82. He's making these headlines on 8/2 about letting out prisoners that riles up certain people. Meanwhile, there's people like me who recognize the majority of people in prison are unviolent and therefore ridiculous, things. Most people in prison, they need some sort of treatment or a better opportunity. We invest all this money in the prison industrial complex. We could invest it in building up communities, creating job centers. They want these prisoners because they use them for slave labor. It's all part of the sickness. So anyway, just to contrast, Donald Trump's receiving the purple medal to offset the criticism he's receiving for criticizing Kaiser Khan, another actor, fraud agent in the media, lying about having a son, lying about being Muslim. Everything in the media is a grand deception. That date, August 2nd, 2016, was also a date with 46 numerology. Prison equals 46, so does sacrifice. Donald Trump receiving a Purple Heart on that date, born in 46. Earlier this year, on a date with 46 numerology, there was the story about Trump tombstone. If you haven't seen my work on the Denver Broncos visiting the White House by the numbers, check it out. I predicted the Broncos would win the Super Bowl in October. In November, I said it would be over the Carolina Panthers, Von Miller MVP. Just in case you're new here, just got to let you know. My work, it can accomplish a lot. The same gang's running the whole show. If it's on TV, it's run by the gang. That goes from sports to political elections. Let's talk about this hat, too, that Donald Trump wears. The Stooge Boy, Make America Great Again. That hat has the same gematria as Barack Hussein Obama. Since Obama became president, there's been the narrative with him and Donald Trump really provoking the birther argument that he was born somewhere else, that his birth certificate's a fraud. We'll talk about that. What I want you to notice is that 163 is the 38th prime number. The word change equals 38. The word death equals 38. Lots of celebrity sacrifice by that number 38. Obama ran on hope and change. Hope has gematria of 44, just like kill. The phrase Make America Great Again the small way also has gematria of 91. Make America Great Again equals 91, just like liberty. Donald Trump's talking about bringing back more wealth, more freedom. He doesn't have a plan for how he's going to do any of this. It's all just talk and lip service. And the name Barack Hussein Obama in Pythagorean gematria, with the exceptions, also sums to 91. Another match between Donald Trump's hat and the current president. And think about what Donald Trump's implying. He's talking about how awful Barack Obama is, what a disaster he's been for the country, and saying we need to get rid of him, make America great again. Donald Trump again started the birther movement at the beginning of Obama's presidency, saying he's really from another country. Birther has the gematria of 44, just like hope, which Obama ran on, just like the word kill. 44, this number connected to political assassinations and murder all throughout history. In light of these numbers, it made me think of the death of Will Smith, the New Orleans Saint football player who was supposedly killed April 9th, 2016. The same night Will Smith, the actor, was receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award for acting at the MTV Movie Awards, which were gold and black themed, just like the Saints' colors. Will Smith in gematria sums to 44. So does car crash. From the date he died, April 9th, until November 8th is 213 days. And 213 is a number connected to killing many people throughout history. And from my research, the majority of the people who've died by this 213 code are black people. Tupac Shakur is a shining example. His final studio album came out February 13th, 2/13. He died exactly 213 days later, September 13th, a date written 13/9. Tupac Shakur equals 139, Freemasonry 139, 13/9, a lot like 139. So many deaths by the numbers in the history of this country. Black History Month equals 213. Hands Up, Don't Shoot equals 213. Saw that recent Baton Rouge, Louisiana killing, supposedly by the young black man against the police officers with 213 coded all over it. Anyhow, I was thinking more about this, and the Saints were the first team to meet with Barack Obama when he became president in 2009. It's the year the Saints won the Super Bowl. That year they got to meet President Obama. Will Smith, the man who died by the numbers, wore the number 91. New Orleans Saints has that gematria of 91. Somehow this might be all part of a very sick riddle. If you have not seen my work on the death of Will Smith, the movie Focus that Will Smith's the actor in, where it's largely set in New Orleans, go back and check that out. I talk about how in that movie, Will Smith's character explains how numbers subconsciously program people. And I show the CNN news footage from the killing of Will Smith, and there's a part where the camera just stops right on the word focus and just shows it to the audience for a good amount of time. Very important videos. Please go back and watch them. With regards to New Orleans, it's also from the Louisiana Purchase. You know, Thomas Jefferson, France, after the American Revolution, after the French Revolution, the building of this nation, the empire. We've seen a lot of terrorism in France reported in the media, and if you visit the work I've done on that, in all of those stories, they've been coding the numbers heavily for Obama. The most recent attack in Bastille Day, they said 84 dead. Remember, Obama in Jewish gematria equals 84. His birthday is August 4th today. In the 2012 Summer Games on August 4th, Serena Williams was getting the gold medal. During her ceremony, as you would sing the lyrics to the national anthem, but our flag was still there. The flag, the U.S. flag, fell from the rafters. All of this stuff is symbolic coding for what they have planned for us. And the powers that be, the banker tyrants, they don't respect us, they hate us, they use us, they abuse us. They play us against each other, and with all this Donald Trump, Obama programming, they want us to fight amongst ourselves. Remember that tombstone in Central Park found on the date with 46 numerology Easter Sunday said, "Make America Hate Again." And Donald Trump, all these people are being used in this agenda. It is the Zionist banker tyrant agenda. Donald Trump's just willing to play stooge boy in it. Just like Hillary Clinton's willing to play stooge lady in it. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.